Greetings, folks. Welcome back to our channel, where we delve into the crucial issues shaping our world. Today, we're diving deep into China's nuclear warning to the United States. In these uncertain times, it's essential to stay informed about the rapidly changing landscape of international politics, and for those of you who like to stay one step ahead, understanding these global events is especially key. So, buckle up as we navigate through the complex world of international politics and nuclear threats. Let's get right into it. China recently sent a chilling nuclear warning to the United States, accusing the US of undermining efforts for nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. It seems the dragon isn't pulling any punches. To add fuel to the fire, China also voiced its concern about the presence of Russian nuclear-capable warships and submarines near the US coast. But that's not all. China has also pointed a finger at the US, accusing it of hypocrisy. On one hand, the US is investing heavily in its nuclear triad. That's the strategic combination of land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, strategic bombers, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles. On the other hand, it's criticizing China's nuclear buildup. China sees this as a clear case of do as I say, not as I do, and they're not staying quiet about it. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the Ukraine crisis. China has accused the United States of allowing weapons to be used by Ukraine against Russia. This, they argue, is another example of the US stirring the pot and contributing to global instability. So what does all this mean? Well, it's clear that tensions are escalating. The accusations flying between these global powers aren't just about who has the bigger stick. It's about influence, control, and a changing global order. The nuclear warning from China is a manifestation of these tensions, a signal that they're not going to sit back and watch from the sidelines. But it's not just about the accusations and warnings. The real concern is what could happen if these tensions continue to rise. Could we see a return to the Cold War era, with its nuclear arms race and constant threat of mutually assured destruction? Only time will tell. China's warning and accusations certainly paint a tense picture, don't they? But remember, this is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. In our next scene, we'll delve into Russia's nuclear posturing and how it's adding to the tensions. Now, on to Russia, another key player in this nuclear chess game. In recent times, Russia has adopted a more assertive stance in the global nuclear arena. This is evident in its decision to supply additional missiles and weaponry to adversaries of the United States. This move is seen as a warning to the US and a clear sign of Russia's determination to stand its ground. In addition to this, Russia has been conducting a series of nuclear drills. These drills, while routine in nature, are also a show of force, a demonstration of Russia's nuclear capabilities, and a clear message to the world that it is ready to defend its interests. But perhaps the most significant development is Russia's suspension of its participation in the New START treaty. This treaty, which limits the number of strategic nuclear warheads and delivery systems that each party can have, has been a cornerstone of global nuclear disarmament efforts. Russia's decision to suspend its participation is a serious blow to these efforts and raises questions about the future of nuclear disarmament. And if that wasn't enough, Russia has declared the United States as its enemy. This is a stark departure from the usual diplomatic language and signals a deterioration in relations between the two countries. Coupled with reports of strategic missile movement within Russia, it is clear that the stakes have been raised. In a world where nuclear weapons have the potential to cause unimaginable destruction, these developments are cause for concern. They show a shift in the balance of power, with countries like Russia feeling emboldened to adopt a more assertive, even aggressive stance. It's an unsettling picture, but one that we need to understand if we are to navigate the complexities of this new nuclear age. Because in this game of nuclear chess, understanding the moves of key players like Russia is crucial. Russia's actions signal a significant escalation in nuclear tensions. However, it's not just Russia and China. There's more to this story. When we look at the global stage, we see a rapid expansion of nuclear arsenals, not only by China and Russia, but North Korea as well. This trio of nations is flexing their nuclear muscles, and it's causing a ripple effect of concern across the globe. Let's first take a closer look at China. The United States, based on its intelligence and estimates, believes that China currently has around 500 operational nuclear warheads. But here's the kicker. The US also projects that China's nuclear arsenal could double by the year 2030. That's a mere 6 years from now. This rapid expansion underscores Beijing's commitment to becoming a dominant player on the nuclear stage, and it's a development that the world is watching closely. Now let's turn to Russia. In recent years, Russia has been making significant strides in its nuclear program. It's been upgrading its nuclear triad. That's its land, sea, and air-based nuclear capabilities, in case you're wondering, and flexing its nuclear might through drills and strategic posturing. These actions have caused ripples of concern, not just in the United States, but across the globe. And then there's North Korea. Despite international sanctions and condemnation, North Korea continues to test its missiles and maintain an aggressive stance. Its actions are a stark reminder that the nuclear threat is far from over, and indeed could be escalating. So, what we're seeing is a sort of nuclear arms race reminiscent of the Cold War era, but with new players and new dynamics. It's a concerning trend, and one that the international community needs to address head-on. These developments certainly highlight the growing nuclear threat, but they also underscore the importance of international diplomacy, arms control agreements, and non-proliferation efforts. As we move forward, these will be key tools in managing this global challenge and ensuring a safer world for us all. So, how is the US reacting to these developments? Well, the US isn't taking these threats lightly. The National Security Council's arms control official has highlighted the potential need for the US to increase its nuclear arsenal. This isn't a step taken lightly, but it's a necessary measure to protect the American people and their allies. The Biden administration has also updated its nuclear weapons employment guidance. This is a key document that outlines the principles and planning factors guiding the use of US nuclear weapons. The updated guidance is designed to address the growth of China's nuclear arsenal and deter any potential threats from Russia, China, and North Korea simultaneously. The US is also considering changes to its nuclear strategy. This is a significant move, and it shows the seriousness of the situation. The strategy could include shifts in the deployment of nuclear weapons, changes in targeting policies, or even the development of new types of nuclear weapons. These changes are being considered to ensure the US can effectively deter nuclear threats and protect its people and allies. It's clear that the US is taking a proactive approach to these rising nuclear tensions. While the hope is always for peaceful resolutions and disarmament, the reality is that the US must be prepared to defend itself and its allies in a world where nuclear threats are becoming more prevalent. The US is also working closely with its allies to address these threats. This includes sharing intelligence, coordinating defense strategies, and supporting each other's efforts to deter aggression. In short, the US is not standing idly by in the face of these growing nuclear threats. It's actively working to strengthen its defenses, update its strategies, and protect its people and allies. This is a complex and challenging situation, but the US is committed to navigating it with strength, determination, and a steadfast commitment to peace and security. The US is clearly taking these threats seriously and is ready to make some strategic shifts. But what does all this mean for global security? Well, tensions have been running high, and it's not just for show. We're looking at a situation where official declarations of enmity have been made. Yes, you heard that right. Russia has gone so far as to declare the United States as an enemy. This is no small matter. It's a significant escalation in rhetoric that could have serious implications down the line. And if that wasn't enough to get your attention, consider this. There's a Russian fleet equipped with nuclear capabilities positioned near Cuba. This has raised quite a few eyebrows, and understandably so. Memories of the Cuban Missile Crisis are still fresh in many minds, and the prospect of a repeat is alarming to say the least. Now, both Russia and Cuba have denied the presence of nuclear missiles. But with the stakes this high, who's willing to take their word for it? The US Navy certainly isn't. They've been keeping a close eye on the situation, monitoring Russian exercises in the region. But the tension isn't just between the US and Russia. The situation involving China, Russia, Ukraine, and NATO is also intensifying. Remember, China has accused the US of undermining nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation efforts. They've also expressed concern about Russian nuclear-capable warships and submarines near the US coast. The US, on the other hand, has criticized China's nuclear buildup while investing heavily in its own nuclear triad. It's a complex, multifaceted situation, with each country trying to gain the upper hand. And in the midst of all this, there's a very real potential for conflict. The question is, where does this leave us? What does the future hold in a world where nuclear tensions are on the rise, and major global powers are at odds. These tensions could potentially lead to a serious conflict, which is a concern for everyone. Well, folks, that's a lot to digest. We've traversed the complex landscape of global nuclear tensions, from China's accusations against the United States to the chilling declarations of enmity between Russia and the US. We discussed the rapid expansion of nuclear arsenals by China, Russia, and North Korea, and the US's strategic response to these growing threats. We delved into China's concern over Russian nuclear-capable warships and submarines near the US coast, and the accusations of hypocrisy levied against the US. We've also explored Russia's warning of supplying additional missiles and weaponry to US adversaries, and their recent nuclear drills. We've looked at the US National Security Council's statements about a potential need to increase the US nuclear arsenal, and the Biden administration's updated nuclear weapons employment guidance. We also examined the intensifying situation involving the US, China, Russia, Ukraine, and NATO. These developments are a sobering reminder of the precarious balance of power in our world. We're seeing nations flex their nuclear capabilities, and the potential for conflict is real and present. But knowledge, as they say, is power. The more we understand about these geopolitical complexities, the better prepared we are to respond and adapt. Stay informed. Keep an eye on these developments. Understand the strategies and motivations of these global powers. Preparation isn't just about stockpiling supplies. It's about understanding the world around us, anticipating changes, and being ready to navigate whatever comes our way. And let's not forget the importance of dialogue and diplomacy in these tense times. It's crucial that we, as global citizens, advocate for peaceful resolutions and non-proliferation. It might seem like these issues are out of our hands, but our voices matter. So let's continue the conversation. What are your thoughts on these developments? How do you think we should respond? Your insights and perspectives are invaluable. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay safe. Thank you for tuning in today. We deeply appreciate your time and hope you found this deep dive into the rising nuclear tensions informative. Our next video will continue to explore the geopolitical landscape, so be sure to stay tuned. Don't forget to delve into the wealth of related videos and resources we've compiled in the description below to further enhance your understanding. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and your preparations in check. Goodbye, and take care.